Story 1. I have been secretly putting $50 a week away for ages, and so far have about $6,300. When it gets to $8,000 next year, then I am going to have her book 2 weeks off work for her upcoming 40th, telling her we will start saving up to go away for a week to a scenic area up the coast about an hour's flight away. Stay at a nice hotel, relax, and then afterwards have a week lazing around at home, which we have talked about before. That will be a nice holiday. She will be excited for that. Except no, we are not doing that. We are going to go to Japan for a week and a half. A place she has wanted to visit for her whole life and thinks it is never ever going to happen because it is too expensive. Story 2. I've arranged for his childhood friend, whom he hasn't seen for 10 years, to come over this weekend from Europe. He believes I'm urging him to prepare the guest bedroom because my parents are visiting. Story 3. I successfully purchased an in-demand Magic: The Gathering set that sold out immediately. He is super bummed because he wanted them, and they are way too expensive to buy individually from resellers. A friend of mine is helping to talk him out of buying any individual cards since he is getting a full set for his birthday next week. Story 4. I join all the anonymous confession groups in my area on Facebook, Reddit, and others, and read the messed up stories people post about their lives, whether true or not, to get a secret fix of drama that is otherwise not present in my life. Story 5. I have a list of details about her, such as her birthday, shoe size, clothing preferences, favorite colors, food preferences, and her mom's name. I also have ideas for gifts and things. She's probably seen it over my shoulder, and that's fine, but I wouldn't ever directly show it to her. It's nice to be able to have certain things she said or talked about in passing ready for gift searches and little surprise planning. I used to feel like it was cheating not to just have all of this information in my head, but I'm getting older and I'm busy. Why not have a little tool to help me be a better partner? Story 6. I already have a plan set up to accidentally order food to one of his best friends' houses a couple of times a month. He is a great friend of ours, and he struggles with hunger because of financial problems. I want to make sure he eats. Edit because a couple of people were curious. I don't have to hide it from my partner, but my significant other is very bad at lying and keeping secrets, and I don't want the friend to catch on. Story 7. That I am shopping for an engagement ring, which she knows, but she does not know when I am going to buy it or pop the question or how, and I know she will eventually see this message and start to worry. Maybe I already bought it. Maybe it is in your purse. Story 8. We were just on vacation in Maui. We did some shopping in Makawao, and a shirt my husband loved was out of stock in his size. Our anniversary is coming up, and I found it online for him. Story 9. My wife has been in the United States since 2007, and today, about 2 hours ago actually, she officially became a citizen after debating whether or not to naturalize. I am going to pick up some of her favorite cookies and red, white, and blue flowers on the way home. Story 10. I'm trying to write her a letter. When we first met, I was in the very beginning stages of joining the military. Because of that, we only got to text for 3 days before I lost my phone privileges for 8 weeks. We weren't going steady by any means, but I was definitely intrigued. So, I asked for her address on the last day with my phone and asked if she'd write back. She gave a non-committal answer, so I was pleasantly surprised 2 weeks later to get mail call. We wrote almost every day until I got home on Christmas leave. We've been together for almost 13 years, and I love her more than anything else in this world. We've built a pretty comfortable life for ourselves and been mildly successful. This past year, her mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and we moved her in with us to help and care for her. I know it's killing her watching her mother wither away, and she's always thanking me for putting up with it. It makes me so sad that she's so used to everyone just leaving her when things get hard. Hell, I may be guilty of it in small doses when we first started dating. I want to write her a letter that will put her at ease, even in these trying times. She deserves so much better than she's gotten for most of her life, and I hope I can do it justice. I've got a few hidden post-it notes with rough drafts scattered about. I just haven't had the time to sit down and combine them all. She needs something good. Story 11. When we started dating, I said I didn't care about marriage. Now, I wish I could marry her, but I don't want to tell her that because I think she would dump me. Being with her and showing her how much I love her is enough for me for now. But I really wish I could marry her and have a huge party, a wedding, showing everyone, including her, how much I love her. I know I'm like the 500th comment, and no one's going to see this, but it still feels nice to say to someone. Edit. Shocked so many people saw this. Laugh out loud. Thanks for all the advice. Maybe I'll listen to some of it someday. As much as I'd love to approach this topic with her now, I think we've got a few other things to iron out first. Like when she's gonna wanna live with me. Laugh out loud. Story 12. We've been together going on 18 years. Last month, he sent me a link on Messenger to a Facebook Marketplace ad for a globe that opens into a bar where you can put your liquor and glasses in it. I didn't say anything back, but I messaged the seller and picked it up the next day. It's hiding in the spare bedroom closet, and it's going to be his Christmas present. Once I stock it with some of his favorite drinks and maybe a few he's always wanted to try. Shoot. Story 13. I fantasize about my partner and I relapsing together. He and I started dating a few months into my recovery. I have 1.5 years without alcohol now, and he has about 2.5 years. He's been such a huge source of support for me over the last year we've been together. This is definitely the healthiest relationship I've ever been in now that I can emotionally regulate again and not simply drown my worries with vodka like I'd always done in past relationships. But I'd be lying if I said I don't still miss drinking and that I don't sometimes fantasize about having a fun, messy night out with him. I often wish he and I could have the experience of going out to bars, parties, etc. as a couple and actually indulge in casual partying like our friends do. I don't plan on acting on these fantasies because a few hours of fun is not worth the countless risks it poses to our personal growth and relationship. But it worries me a little bit that I have this vague longing for scenarios that would be ultimately harmful for us. Story 14. Just that I cry a bit before falling asleep. We are going through infertility and had 2 losses back to back. He can't help much in the situation, it's just emotional overload. Quickly done with, and all it would do to wake him up would be him worrying even more about me and wrecking his sleep. Then he would go to work sleep deprived and worried, which is not good. If it gets bad, I'll wake him, but these short bursts when the world is quiet, I can handle on my own and I prefer it so. Just to be clear, I'm not hiding that this is hard, and we support each other a lot. I just don't think these nightly bursts have an upside in bringing him into it. Well, this blew up a bit. Thank you for the kind comments. Didn't expect all this love, but it is much appreciated. Story 15. I have been saving up a large sum of money that I will soon surprise her with. We live apart at the moment, and I have been avoiding all unnecessary purchases, even haircuts, for a little boost. She thinks I am in between freelance jobs that pay little to none, which I am, but I made a freakishly lucky investment. I pulled out my funds and am now stacking 40% of each paycheck on top of that. Currently, I am planning her dream vacation for around spring of 2025 while still having enough for possibly finding an apartment and having it paid off for 6 months. So far, I am 3/4 of the way to my goal. Hopefully, the rare haircuts don't turn her off before then. Haha. Story 16. That I wish I had gone through with my request for a divorce 4 years ago. I love her deeply, but I know it is one way. Our bedroom is dead, and I am never more lonely than when I'm with her. But financially, I can't afford to carry 2 households, and even though I wouldn't have to pay spousal support, she has a degree that could earn her more money than I make. I don't want her to struggle. We're still friends, but that's it. Roommates that share history. I still find her beautiful, and she can turn me on with a wink, but on the rare occasion that she allows us to be intimate, I can tell she's just going through the motions. I'd rather be alone than with someone who doesn't want me, but I don't want her to be left without someone to take care of her. Story 17. How many episodes of Gilmore Girls I have watched this past week. He is back to school this week. I do not go back until next week. We are both teachers. I have done household chores really fast so I can sit on the couch and watch Gilmore Girls all day until he comes home. Story 18. How depressed I am. He is a happy-go-lucky guy who has never dealt with it personally or with friends. I know in my heart he won't be able to deal with it. Story 19. I occasionally use dairy alternatives when cooking, like oat milk or lactose-free milk. The stubborn mule is lactose intolerant but refuses to accept it. He thinks it is normal for his guts to explode after eating dairy. He claims he can tell the difference, but he never does. He is one of those old farts that says, "Show me the teat on an almond." He actually likes the food better when I use oat milk, raves about it. I love the man, but he is so stubborn. If it means his health is better, I will let him believe he is eating dairy. Edit. Yes, he has been confirmed by doctors, and yes, we have lactose pills. Story 20. My fiancée and I are getting married in mid-October. It's her first marriage, and she turns 40 this year. She's not looking forward to it, the birthday, not the wedding. Her birthday falls on a Saturday this year, so I took Friday off, set up a Facebook event, and invited all her friends and coworkers to stop by for a surprise bash. I'm making birria tacos, and I got her a custom cake that reads, "Look at this, turning 20 twice." With 4 bedrooms, 2 couches, and a 6-foot beanbag, people can let loose and crash here. Story 21. I am going to make her a Halloween-themed afternoon tea so we can watch her favorite Halloween movie on her favorite day, Halloween, if you have not guessed, after we move in together. Story 22. I have only one checking account with the bank through which I received my mortgage, and I direct deposit just enough into it to cover the payments each month. However, I put an extra $10 per paycheck into that account and use it as an emergency snack fund so that on rare occasions, I can sneakily get a fun snack or drink without my wife knowing. Not that she would mind. I do still use our joint credit card for snacks like that sometimes. It just makes me feel like I can have something for myself that I don't have to share. Like it feeds my inner child in a way. Story 23. The number of just-in-case vacations, which are fully refundable, that I have booked at any given moment has increased significantly. After years of losing money by booking last minute when we decided we needed to get away, I now simply book things when they go on sale and then pull them out of a hypothetical magical bag as needed. Story 24. I'm going out of town this weekend, and my wife is panicking. She has some separation anxiety and attachment issues that stem from a troubled childhood. I paid for a bouquet of flowers to be delivered to her workplace after I'm gone, letting her know everything is going to be okay, and I'll be back very soon. I wish I could be a fly on the wall to see her reaction. Story 25. My fears. They come up without cause, and I work very hard to eradicate them. I'm not always successful at this. Why don't I tell him? Because they're based on my insecurities, not in reality. It's not something he can fix or make better, and I worry that him hearing them and knowing he can't help will just make things worse. So, I paste on a smile, am quick to giggle, make his lunches, clean his clothes, and take care of the animals. Then, while he's working or sleeping, I just sit in my fears. Housewife here. My days are filled with cooking, cleaning, training our new puppy, caring for our senior cat, and helping him with his job, including interview preparation, editing his reports, and helping him practice presentations, etc. Story 26. I am very proud of myself for listening to my instincts and forcing my husband to go to the emergency room Monday morning. He could have slipped into a diabetic coma if I had let him lay in bed any longer. His blood glucose was 747 when we got to the emergency room. He has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, adult onset. When I tried to say I was proud of myself, he got mad and said I was shoving it in his face, so I promised not to say anything more about it. I was so scared inside, but I stayed strong for him. Story 27. It is unclear if we think it is a secret, but I think my wife and I more than her after decades of therapy, realize that we do not share the same idea of what a marriage represents and that our differences may be irreconcilable. I need adult intimacy. She would be fine for us to remain co-parents and basically celibate roommates and gets defensive when I bring it up. This will certainly cause us to divorce, but we are both scared to admit that because of the upheaval it will cause to our family and finances after being married for so long. It will turn our entire lives upside down. Not an easy proposition at our ages. Yes, I understand the pros and cons. In any case, it sucks and I wish we had both been smarter 20 years ago. Story 28. My new address and phone number. Edit. I am seriously dyslexic and read parent, not partner. I have a narcissistic mother. I'm not being domestically abused. I am dying of embarrassment, though. Edit 2. What am I hiding from my partner? Maybe that I hate the snacks he brings me every day after work, but he thinks I love them, and it's so incredibly sweet. I just tell him he's the best, and I love him because it's the thought that counts. Story 29. This is terrible to admit, but for the first 6 or 7 years of our marriage, I couldn't remember our anniversary for the life of me. My husband was constantly reminding me. Now, I fully remember, but I pretend like I don't because he thinks it's funny that the wife doesn't care about our anniversary and he does. Story 30. I'm pregnant. Here's the context. I only found out today, and my partner and I are apart in different countries while I wait for a visa to be processed. It's very unexpected as they thought they were infertile. I considered telling them over the phone, but I know they value and prefer face-to-face conversations. Also, they currently feel stressed about aspects of our life such as immigration restrictions and finances. So, I don't want to drop the news on them and then have them process their feelings about it all without me by their side. So, I'll tell them face-to-face as soon as we see each other, hopefully in a week.